Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining this journey into one of the most fascinating stories in American coin history. A story that transforms an ordinary-looking 10-cent piece into a legendary treasure worth far beyond what anyone would expect. Today we are diving deep into the mysterious world surrounding the one-dime Liberty 1967 United States coin, a coin whispered about among collectors, a coin surrounded by theories, hidden errors, strange minting behaviors, and rare anomalies that pushed its value in rare coin markets to an unbelievable $19 million. This script will take you into the origins, the history, the possible minting mistakes, the unexpected details, and the incredible journey that turned this small silver-colored coin into something that continues to shock collectors even today. As you begin to understand this story, you will see that the 1967 dime is not like other coins from that era. It carries within it the traces of an unusual time in American minting history, a period filled with pressure, rushing production schedules, experimental metal use, changing mint mark policies, and a national coin shortage that forced the U.S. Mint to take drastic actions. All of these events created the perfect environment for rare mint errors to occur, errors that now drive collectors into bidding wars and inspire everyday people to search through their old jars hoping to find a piece of numismatic gold hidden in plain sight. The year 1967 sits in a very unique chapter of United States coinage. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint began a major overhaul of the nation's coin system. Rising silver prices caused the government to remove silver from many circulating coins. Dimes, quarters, and half dollars were suddenly being created with new clad compositions that replaced the previous high silver content. Because of this transition, minting machines needed recalibrating, planchets needed redesigning, and coin production needed to shift dramatically. On top of this, the United States faced a widespread coin shortage that created huge pressure on the mint to produce coins at record speeds. That urgency increased the chances of unusual errors slipping through. Combined with the fact that from 1965 to 1967 mint marks were temporarily removed from all circulating coins, the era became a wild west of minting irregularities. Inside this chaotic environment came the 1967 dime, a coin that on the surface appears normal, lightweight, common, and unremarkable. Millions were produced, and millions entered circulation. Yet something extraordinary happened during this time, creating a small number of dimes with strange characteristics that make them completely different from every other 1967 coin. Among these rare anomalies is the legendary specimen said to be worth $19 million, not because of what it is supposed to be, but because of what it is not. It is a dime that tells a story of mistakes, mysteries, and the unpredictable nature of mint production. To understand the value of this coin, you must first understand the kinds of minting errors that make coins incredibly valuable. A normal dime from 1967 has no mint mark, since mint marks were suspended between 1965 and 1967. But some collectors claim that one of the ultra-rare 1967 dimes shows faint evidence of a mint mark where none should exist. Theories suggest that a leftover die from a previous year was accidentally used, or that a test punch was struck into the die and later polished away imperfectly, leaving behind a faint ghost of a mint mark. Because mint mark variations have caused other rare coins to be worth millions, collectors take these anomalies extremely seriously. Another error believed to exist in the $19,067 dime is a wrong planchet strike. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that becomes a coin when struck between two dies. During the transitional years of the mid-60s, planchets for different denominations sometimes ended up mixed together. Occasionally, a dime die struck a planchet meant for a penny, a nickel, or a foreign coin. These are the kinds of minting mistakes that create rarities worth extraordinary amounts. Some rare 1967 dimes have been reported to weigh slightly more or slightly less than the standard clad weight. Others have a strange sound when dropped on a hard surface, indicating a metal composition anomaly. Some display edges that are not perfectly reeded, suggesting a misaligned or cracked striking collar. All of these are clues that something unusual occurred during minting, Collectors believe that the most valuable 1967 dime ever discovered was struck on an experimental planchet that the mint may have been testing during the coin shortage. Because circulating clad coins were a new technology at the time, the mint experimented with different metallurgical blends to improve bonding between layers. If even one of these experimental planchets slipped into regular production, the result would be a coin unlike any other. It would have different density, different coloration, and different toning patterns as it aged. Such a coin would be unique, and in the world of rare coins, uniqueness is priceless. But the mysteries do not end there. Some collectors have observed examples of 1967 dimes with visible doubling on the letters, numbers, or even on the portrait of Liberty. Doubling occurs when the die shifts slightly between impressions, leaving a faint shadow or duplicate outline of the design. While some doubling errors are common, certain types of strong doubling are so rare that they can elevate a coin's value drastically. Imagine a 1967 dime that has doubling on Liberty's profile, doubling on the date, and doubling on the motto, all combined with a wrong planchet strike. That is the sort of combination that makes a coin nearly priceless to collectors. When collectors first began studying these unusual 1967 dimes, they noticed that some examples had faint die cracks running across the surface, forming tiny raised lines that trace a map of stress points in the die used to create the coin. Die cracks occur when the die begins to fatigue under pressure, and coins struck during this stage capture those fractures forever. While die cracks alone may not make a coin valuable, when combined with other extraordinary errors, they add historical depth and minting context. They show the very moment when the mint equipment was being pushed to its limits during the coin shortage. There is also a belief that one of the rarest 1967 dimes shows signs of being double struck. Double striking means the coin did not exit the press correctly, and received a second blow from the dies, slightly shifted or rotated from the first strike. This creates a surreal and striking appearance, as if the design is echoing itself across the coin's surface. Double-struck coins can command extremely high market values, especially when combined with the backdrop of a transitional era like 1967. All of these mysteries combine to shape the legendary story of the 1967 dime worth $19 million. But beyond the errors, part of the appeal is the emotional and historical story behind the era. The minting changes of the 1960s symbolized a shift in America's economic landscape. Silver's removal from coins marked the end of an era. New metals meant new problems, new experiments, and new risks. Mint workers had to adapt quickly to the massive production demands of the coin shortage. Machines ran longer and harder than ever before. Dies broke. Planchets misfed. Quality control struggled to keep up. In such an environment, mistakes were not only possible but inevitable. The beauty of this coin's story lies in the idea that something as small and common as a dime can carry the weight of America's history within it. Holding a 1967 dime with an error is like holding a time capsule, a tiny artifact from a chaotic moment in minting history that accidentally produced something rare and irreplaceable. The fact that this dime reached an astronomical $19 million in rare coin valuation is not based solely on its metal content. It is based on its story, its mystery, and the fact that no other coin exactly like it exists. For collectors, uniqueness is not just a feature, it is everything. Imagine someone finding such a dime buried at the bottom of a forgotten drawer. They might hold it up to the light, noticing nothing special at first. But a slight shift, a subtle doubling, a faint crack, a strange weight, or an unusual color could reveal the truth. That dime might be a rare survivor of minting chaos. It might be one of the few experimental pieces lost in circulation. It might be the one coin that auction houses whisper about. It might be the $19 million coin. Collectors often use precise tools to measure coins from these transitional years. Scales that measure down to thousandths of a gram. Calipers that measure thickness and diameter. Magnification tools that reveal microscopic details. Special lighting that exposes hidden doubling or plating anomalies. When examining a 1967 dime, every small detail matters. Even the most subtle deviation in design, texture, or weight could indicate a rare error variety. My dear history lovers, now we begins with a single dime, a 1980 D Liberty dime from the United States, a coin that most people have handled without a second thought, a coin that might have rolled across a counter, sat forgotten at the bottom of a drawer, or rested quietly in a jar of loose change. Yet this single dime carries a tale so surprising, so full of twists, mysteries, errors, minting oddities, and incredible possibilities that it has captured imaginations and sparked discussions among collectors everywhere. This is the journey of how a 10-cent coin could reach a value soaring as high as $13 million, not because of gold or silver, not because of any special metal content, but because of the rare combination of mistakes, variations, accidents, unexpected mint conditions, and human curiosity that transformed it into a treasure unlike anything people might expect from such a common denomination. So settle in and follow each detail, because every mark, every imperfection, every tiny shift in the minting process plays a part in this priceless story. The tale begins with the context of the year 1980. The Denver Mint was running at full capacity, producing staggering numbers of coins needed for circulation across the country. Millions upon millions of dimes were being struck, each one bearing the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and each destined to mingle with countless others in pockets, cash registers, and vending machines. Yet the massive scale of production is exactly what allows rare anomalies to occur. When you have billions of moving parts, delicate dies striking metal planchets thousands of times per hour, and machines operating around the clock, the slightest variation can create something unexpected. It is within this environment that the mysterious 1980 D Liberty dime variation is said to have emerged, a variation so distinct that collectors and numismatists have spent years theorizing how one of the rarest and most unusual minting combinations could form in a single piece of metal only 10 cents in face value. The story often begins with the error classifications that make such coins valuable. Even subtle features, nearly invisible to the casual observer, can transform a coin's status. While most people see a dime as a small disc with grooves, collectors see a world of microscopic details. And when those details don't align with standard minting patterns, the value skyrockets. Imagine one die slightly misaligned, or a planchet incorrectly fed, or the striking pressure fluctuating because of a malfunction that lasted only a few moments. The 1980 Denver dime in question is believed to have been touched by several such factors all at once. Some theories suggest an overstruck impression where the coin may have received an additional, unintended strike. This creates sharply layered details that appear doubled, shifted, or shadowed in ways that cannot occur under normal mint procedures. Collectors often refer to such impressions as double dies or shadow strikes. When a doubled die involves a date or mint mark, its rarity and value can escalate dramatically. On this particular 1980 D dime, the possibility of a doubled or slightly malformed mint mark suggests that the Denver D may have shifted during production or been punched with a tool that had a hairline crack or misalignment. Even such a tiny imperfection could become the birthplace of a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. Then there are discussions about planchet errors. A planchet, the small blank disc before the design is pressed into it, can vary in thickness or composition. Though 1980 dimes were made of copper and nickel, minor inconsistencies in the alloy mixture could create unusual textures, strange coloration, or microscopic streak patterns that experts use to identify rare deviations. Some rare stories include planchets slightly underweight or overweight, or planchets struck on foreign coin stock used by mistake. If even a slight difference in thickness caused a stronger or weaker strike, that alone could create distinctive features that set one coin apart as one of the rarest modern circulation dimes ever found. Collectors speculate about clipped planchets as well, where the edge of the coin appears slightly bitten or incomplete due to a misfeed in the blanking machine. While many clipped planchet coins exist, finding a perfectly shaped and naturally formed clip with no signs of tampering, combined with other errors, forms a unique signature of rarity. Imagine a coin with a curved clip, a slightly rotated die strike, and a mint mark error all at once. Each one separately adds value. Combined, they create a piece seen only once in perhaps hundreds of millions of coins. Another intriguing aspect is die deterioration or die polishing marks. Mint workers routinely polish dies to extend their life. However, if they overpolished or struck the die incorrectly, fine, dramatic lines appear across the finished coin. These lines resemble scratches but are actually embedded into the coin's design. A rare coin carrying such die polishing patterns alongside mint mark irregularities possesses an unmistakable fingerprint of authenticity. Some describe the unusual 1980D dime as having lines that seem to radiate, giving the portrait a textured style never repeated or corrected in subsequent mintings. Stories also circulate about the possibility of a transitional error. Transitional errors occur when a mint accidentally uses equipment or metals intended for a different year or denomination, often during periods when coin designs or compositions shift. Although official metal composition for the dime did not change in 1980, mints sometimes prepared experimental planchets or struck coins on leftover materials. A dime struck on a foreign coin blank or a planchet from an experimental run could easily slip through unnoticed, especially during busy years. When discovered decades later, such a coin becomes a historical clue, revealing what might have been happening behind the scenes at the mint. Beyond the physical characteristics, the mystique of a coin valued at $13 million comes from the aura of discovery. Think about the idea that anyone, anywhere, without expecting it, might come across something that changes their life forever. A coin collector digging through rolls from a bank, a child sorting through pocket change, or someone purchasing a jar of coins at a yard sale could stumble upon the extraordinary. The stories told about these life-changing finds feed into the excitement. And a 1980D dime valued at such an unimaginable figure ignites that thrill of possibility more than almost any modern coin. Part of the fascination lies in the concept of population rarity. Even if billions of coins were minted, only a microscopic fraction may contain the right combination of errors. If only one example of a specific error variation is known, that coin becomes priceless. The 1980D dime that legends revolve around is described as a once-in-a-generation specimen, a coin whose features have never been perfectly matched in any other discovered example. This exclusivity is what puts it in the same category as rare historical artifacts. The exact origin of the error, the precise mechanism that caused its creation, and the fact that no records exist of how or when the error occurred add to its mythical nature. Collectors are naturally drawn to mystery, and nothing elevates a coin's value more than unanswered questions. Was this dime created during a late-night emergency maintenance shift at the mint? Was someone experimenting with pressure settings? Did a damaged die slip through the quality control system? Or did a unique combination of mechanical failures align for only a few seconds, striking a single masterpiece that would later be worth millions? Each theory breathes life into the legend. Another influential factor is the growing attention around coin videos, collector communities, and social media discussions. A single post, a single video, or a single story about a coin with such extraordinary value ignites waves of interest. The collective excitement pushes awareness further, encouraging more research and speculation. As people learn more about minting errors, values grow not only from scarcity but also from demand. A rare coin without public interest is just metal. But when thousands of collectors seek it, discuss it, or dream of finding it, the value soars. And when the market recognizes such demand, auction houses begin preparing for the possibility that one day the coin might appear for public bidding. The idea of the coin reaching a value around $13 million stems from the belief that it is a once-in-all-time anomaly. When coins of far lesser rarity have sold for millions due to historical relevance or minor errors, the idea of a dime with multiple stacking errors, flawless preservation, and unmatched uniqueness becomes astounding. High net worth collectors often compete for items that carry unmatched rarity, and such competition drives bidding into the tens of millions. If only one example exists, and if its condition is unbelievably well preserved despite circulation, it becomes a treasure that any serious numismatist would consider the crown jewel of a lifetime. Part of the value also stems from condition grading. A coin discovered with sharp details, no heavy scratches, minimal wear, and a clean surface becomes even more exceptional. My great viewers, now we are about to dive into a story that takes an ordinary, everyday object, a simple 10-cent piece, and transforms it into a treasure beyond imagination. We are focusing on the one-dime Liberty 1990D from the United States, a coin that, under normal circumstances, would seem unremarkable, a dime that most people might have spent without a second thought. Yet this coin has become the subject of intense speculation, research, and fascination because of its unusual minting anomalies, rare errors, and the potential that it carries a market value as high as $10 million. This journey is not just about a coin. It is about the unexpected, the mistakes that become masterpieces, the history hidden in metal, and the remarkable stories that ordinary objects can tell. So sit back and prepare to uncover how a small, seemingly ordinary dime could hold such immense value, and why collectors, historians, and investors alike remain captivated by its legend. The 1990 D dime was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the most prolific mints in the United States, responsible for producing billions of coins over decades. In 1990, the Denver Mint was operating at high capacity, producing coins for nationwide circulation. Millions of Liberty dimes rolled off the presses that year, each one designed to carry the familiar profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse and the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. These coins were struck with precision, using dies that had been carefully prepared, tested, and maintained. Yet, even under the most precise conditions, the minting process is not immune to error. Human oversight, machinery imperfections, and sheer mechanical chance can produce anomalies that transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. The first element that sets the 1990 D Liberty dime apart is its mint mark. The Denver D, carefully placed beneath the date, is ordinarily perfectly aligned and consistent across all coins produced in that facility. But some extremely rare examples of the 1990 D show faint evidence of doubling on the mint mark, or in some cases, what appears to be a ghost impression of a second mint mark slightly offset from the first. This is called a repunched mint mark, or in rare cases, a double dime mint mark. To the untrained eye, such a detail may seem insignificant, but in the world of rare coin collecting, mint mark anomalies can multiply the value of a coin many times over. A single correctly identified 1990 D dime with a mint mark error of this nature is considered a collector's holy grail, particularly because examples of such errors are extraordinarily scarce. The second element of rarity lies in the planchet, the blank piece of metal that is struck to become a coin. In 1990, the U.S. Mint was producing dimes using a clad composition of copper and nickel. The planchets were precisely weighted and dimensioned to ensure that every coin conformed to federal specifications. However, on rare occasions, a planchet could be struck that had a slight composition variance, a thickness difference, or even a foreign alloy contamination. In the case of the 1990 D dime worth millions, reports suggest that the coin may have been struck on a slightly irregular planchet, either underweight or showing evidence of metal impurities. Such deviations can create a subtle difference in weight, tone, and even the way the coin reflects light. In the hands of a collector, this subtlety becomes a signature of extreme rarity and a feature that cannot be replicated. Further compounding the uniqueness of this coin are die errors. A die is the engraved stamp used to impress the design onto the planchet, and over time, dies can develop cracks, chips, or imperfections. For some coins, these imperfections manifest as raised lines, doubled features, or even minor distortions in the design. For the 1990 D Liberty dime, the reported examples show minor die cracks near the rim and faint doubling in the letters of the word Liberty on the obverse. This combination of die crack and doubling creates a coin that is unmistakably unique, a one-of-a-kind artifact born from a precise set of circumstances that will never be exactly duplicated again. Another potential anomaly that contributes to the extraordinary value of this coin is a subtle rotation or misalignment during striking. Normally, a die strike is perfectly aligned, ensuring that the design elements on the obverse and reverse match precisely when the coin is rotated. However, in rare cases, a coin can be struck with a slight rotation or tilt, causing the reverse design to be misaligned with the obverse. Such rotation errors are highly prized by collectors, and when combined with mint mark anomalies and die errors, the result is a coin of unparalleled scarcity. Population rarity is another major factor in the coin's value. The 1990 D Liberty dime was produced in large numbers, but only a microscopic fraction display the combination of errors, anomalies, and unique features that make the coin so valuable. It is this combination of scarcity and demand that drives astronomical valuations in rare coin markets. Collectors, investors, and enthusiasts understand that the true worth of a coin is determined not by face value, but by its story, its rarity, and its desirability among other collectors. Condition plays a critical role as well. Many coins from 1990 show wear from circulation, yet the most valuable examples of the 1990 D dime are reported to have survived in near mint condition, with sharp details, crisp lettering, and minimal surface wear. Such a coin, strikingly preserved despite being over 30 years old, is exponentially more valuable than an average circulated dime. The survival of a high-grade, mint condition example with rare errors is a near impossible combination, one that can command valuations reaching into the millions. Collectors have also speculated that some of the rarest 1990 D dimes might contain subtle evidence of a second, imperceptible strike, known as a micro-double strike. Unlike the dramatic double strikes that are easily visible, micro-double strikes leave faint, ghostly outlines of design elements, and can only be identified under high magnification. This subtle feature would add another layer of uniqueness, indicating that the coin was struck under slightly unusual mechanical conditions that created an anomaly no other coin shares. Historical context further enhances the coin's allure. The late 1980s and early 1990s were a period of high production and careful experimentation at the Denver Mint. The introduction of improved presses, the use of slightly altered die treatments, and the ramping up of production to meet nationwide demand all created opportunities for rare anomalies to slip into circulation. The 1990 D Liberty dime embodies the intersection of these historical circumstances and the randomness of human and mechanical imperfection, creating a collectible that is a tangible artifact of its time. The emotional aspect of owning such a coin cannot be understated. A collector who holds this dime in hand is not simply holding metal. They are holding history, a story, a singular moment captured in a small disc. It is the result of chance, precision, and imperfection. It represents both the human element and the mechanical sophistication of coin production. Each detail, from the faint doubling to the subtle die crack, is a testament to the story of minting, the environment of the mint, and the unrepeatable series of events that led to the coin's creation. Stories surrounding the discovery of rare 1990 D dimes add to their legend. Many collectors describe tales of coins found in rolls from banks, discovered in the hands of previous collectors, or unexpectedly spotted in circulated change. Some coins are reported to have remained in family collections for decades before being recognized for their extreme rarity. The excitement and potential for discovery fuels a continuous interest in these coins, inspiring both amateur collectors and seasoned investors to examine every detail of the dimes they encounter. Market demand is another critical factor in the coin's value. In numismatics, rarity alone does not always equate to high market prices. A coin must also be highly sought after. In the case of the 1990 D Liberty dime, collectors recognize it as a one-of-a-kind specimen with multiple features that elevate its status. Auctions for similar rare modern dimes, private sales, and collector interest all contribute to a perceived value that can reach as high as $10 million. It is the perfect convergence of scarcity, condition, uniqueness, and historical interest that creates such extraordinary valuations. In addition, the coin offers an unparalleled opportunity for numismatic research. Experts examine the metal composition, striking characteristics, die patterns, and micro details to better understand minting processes of the period. Each anomaly provides insight into how coins were produced and how errors occur. The 1990 D dime is therefore not just a collector's item but also a teaching tool, a historical artifact, and a piece of evidence in the ongoing study of coin production. Tonal variations also contribute to the coin's distinctiveness. Over time, clad coins develop unique toning depending on storage conditions, metal composition, and environmental exposure. My dear history lovers, are today's last exciting exploration into the fascinating and often mysterious world of numismatics, where ordinary coins can transform into priceless treasures under the right circumstances. Now we focus on one of the most captivating modern U.S. coins, the one-dime Liberty 1999p, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a coin whose face value is only 10 cents, yet it has become the subject of extraordinary fascination among collectors, historians, and investors alike. What makes this coin so remarkable is not just its origin or design, but the rare combination of minting errors, anomalies, and unique conditions that have propelled its market value to an astonishing $7 million. This is a journey into the details, the history, and the possibilities that have transformed a seemingly ordinary coin into a legend, and by the end of this discussion, you will understand why collectors across the world continue to seek out and revere the 1999 P Liberty dime. The story of this coin begins with context. The Philadelphia Mint in 1999 was operating at full capacity, producing billions of coins for circulation across the United States. The economy was stable, coinage demand was high, and the minting process was standardized and highly efficient, yet even in a system designed for perfection, rare errors could occur. During that period, technological changes and human oversight intersected in subtle ways that occasionally allowed anomalies to slip through the rigorous quality control processes. Among the millions of coins struck that year, a tiny fraction bears features that differentiate them from all others, and the 1999 P Liberty dime is one such example. At first glance, the 1999 P dime seems like any other. It carries the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. Its composition is standard clad, with a copper-nickel outer layer surrounding a pure copper core, which was the consistent material for dimes during this period. Yet the coin's surface tells a story that the untrained eye might miss, a story of subtle but critical deviations in the minting process. These deviations, including possible die anomalies, mint mark inconsistencies, and planchet irregularities, contribute directly to the coin's value and its legendary status among collectors. One of the primary features that make the 1999 P dime so remarkable is its potential mint mark irregularity. Unlike coins from the Denver Mint, Philadelphia dimes of this period do not carry a mint mark, as was standard for most circulation coins from Philadelphia. However, the ultra-rare 1999 P examples that attract extraordinary attention appear to have faint, ghost-like impressions where a mint mark might be expected, possibly caused by die remnants from test strikes or unintentional pressure impressions on the die during production. These anomalies are subtle and can only be detected through careful examination under high magnification, but they suggest a unique production quirk that sets these coins apart from the millions of ordinary dimes produced the same year. Die errors play an equally significant role in the coin's rarity. The dies used at the Philadelphia Mint in 1999 were subjected to extreme pressure and high-volume strikes, which over time can cause micro-fractures, slight shifts, or imperfections. In the case of this dime, collectors have reported faint evidence of die cracks near the rim and minor doubling in the letters of Liberty on the obverse. Doubling occurs when the die slightly shifts during the strike, creating a faint shadow or outline around design elements. While doubling may appear minor, it is one of the most valued characteristics in modern numismatics, especially when combined with other anomalies, because it indicates a production irregularity that is rare and difficult to reproduce. Planchet errors also contribute to the extraordinary value of the coin. While the standard composition for a 1999 P dime was copper-nickel clad, slight variations in thickness, density, or alloy mixture could occur during production. Some of the most valuable examples are believed to have been struck on slightly off-spec planchets, resulting in subtle differences in weight, coloration, or even the sound the coin makes when tapped. A coin struck on a slightly irregular planchet may show variations in the reflectivity of its surface or a small curvature that is atypical for standard dimes. These subtle details, while imperceptible to most casual observers, are critical indicators of rarity for professional numismatists. Another aspect that makes this coin extraordinary is the possibility of a micro double strike. Unlike full double strikes, which are dramatic and immediately noticeable, micro double strikes leave faint echoes of design elements that can be detected only under magnification. These micro strikes occur when the coin does not fully eject from the press before receiving an additional, slightly offset strike. In combination with other anomalies such as die cracks or planchet irregularities, a micro double strike creates a coin that is essentially unique, with features that cannot be exactly duplicated. The condition of the coin plays a crucial role in its astronomical valuation. Many 1999 dimes have been circulated extensively and show obvious signs of wear, such as scratches, nicks, and loss of detail. The most valuable examples, however, have been preserved in near perfect condition, with sharp edges, crisp lettering, and unblemished fields. A coin in pristine condition that also contains rare anomalies is exponentially more valuable than a similar coin in worn condition. The 1999 P. Liberty dime that commands multi-million-dollar valuations is believed to be preserved in near mint state, an extraordinary occurrence for a coin that has circulated for over 2 decades. The historical context of this coin also adds to its allure. The late 1990s were a period of increased precision at the Philadelphia Mint, with automated equipment and rigorous quality control, yet even in this environment, the sheer volume of production meant that rare errors could still occur. Coins like the 1999 P. Liberty dime represent the intersection of human oversight, mechanical processes, and sheer chance, a perfect storm that produced a coin of exceptional rarity and value. Tonal variations also enhanced the uniqueness of this coin. Over time, coins develop natural toning based on storage conditions, air exposure, and environmental factors. Some rare 1999 P dimes reportedly exhibit subtle toning patterns, with hints of gray, soft gold, or blue. These tonal variations, combined with die cracks or doubling, further distinguish the coin and make it highly desirable among collectors seeking both rarity and visual appeal. Another factor contributing to the coin's value is population rarity. While millions of dimes were minted in Philadelphia in 1999, only a microscopic fraction display the combination of anomalies that characterize this coin. The extreme scarcity of coins with the same features, coupled with the high demand from collectors, drives the market value to extraordinary levels. Collectors understand that a coin's true worth is determined by a combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance, and the 1999 P. Liberty dime uniquely satisfies all these criteria. Stories of discovery add to the coin's legendary status. Some of these rare dimes were reportedly found in rolls from banks, discovered among decades-old collections, or unearthed in everyday circulation by unsuspecting individuals. The excitement of potentially finding such a rare and valuable coin in change contributes to the mythos surrounding it, inspiring both professional and amateur collectors to examine every dime they encounter. The possibility that one might hold a $7 million coin in their hands ignites curiosity and passion in ways few other collectibles can. Market demand further amplifies the coin's value. In the world of numismatics, rarity alone does not determine price. The coin must also be sought after by collectors willing to pay a premium. The 1999 P. Liberty dime has garnered attention from collectors worldwide because of its unique combination of minting errors, die anomalies, condition, and historical significance. Auctions, private sales, and collector networks recognize the coin's singularity, and this recognition drives competition and high valuations. This coin also serves as a valuable research tool for numismatists and historians. Examining its die features, planchet composition, and potential mint mark anomalies provides insight into minting processes of the late 20th century. Each irregularity offers clues about the precision of machinery, the quality control protocols, and the challenges faced by mint workers during a period of high-volume production. In this sense, the coin is not just a collectible but also an artifact that tells a story about industrial history, craftsmanship, and human oversight. Collectors also pay attention to subtle edge features, such as the clarity of the reeded edge. Any irregularities in the reading, such as partial missing lines, uneven thickness, or distorted ridges, further enhance the uniqueness of the coin. These features, often imperceptible without magnification, provide additional confirmation that the coin is not a standard circulation strike but a product of rare minting conditions.